Okay, now what we have is we have a piece of poster board. It's not mandatory, but highly recommended. And this is what we're going to actually glue our stencils to. We're going to glue it, and that way when we cut it, it stays a little bit rigid. And to do that, we're going to use spray adhesive. Now, we can use any kind of spray adhesive. I've used different kinds. I like this 3M Super 77. It's very nice. So we're going to shake it up real good. Okay, now we're going to create our stencil. To do that, we're going to be using a big sheet of poster board. Now, this isn't required, but it's highly recommended because it's going to make the stencil a little bit more rigid, and so it won't tear like paper might. So for our stencils, I have a few different cityscape, which I just found a picture on the internet of a cityscape silhouette. And we also have this palm tree. We have some happy birds and a little drawing that I did. So we're going to do two different layers, but first what we want to do is we want to glue this to the poster board itself. Okay, and to do that, I like to use this multi-purpose adhesive made by 3M. I've used a lot of different adhesives. Any one will do. This one is my favorite. So we want to shake it up real good. And what we're going to do is we're going to coat the bottom of each of these, and then what we're going to do is we're going to coat the poster board. We're going to let it dry for just a second, and then we're going to paste it down just like that. Okay, let's do it. You really don't need too much spray adhesive, just a little bit, just a light coat. Okay, now we can set these aside for just a second while they dry. They're going to be a little bit tacky. That's okay. Now we're going to put a little bit of spray adhesive on the poster board. There we go. Okay, so we're going to glue this down right here. To start in one corner, work my way. If you get a little bit of a wrinkle like I did right there, you can just peel it back up. Put it back down. Happy stencil. We're going to take our second stencil. We're going to put it next to that. Just like this. There we go. Okay, so these are our stencils, and what we want to do is we want to cut the two layers apart. So I'm going to use an X-Acto knife. It's going to give it a little happy scratch right down the middle. There we go. Okay, now that we have our stencils glued to our poster board, we've got a cutting mat here. Now these can be purchased at craft stores. They're not mandatory, but they help your blades of your razor blades last a little bit longer. It makes for happy razor blades. If you don't have a cutting mat, that's okay. It's just art. Instead, you could use cardboard or any surface that you don't mind scratching. Now, the cutting mat will prevent the blade from going through, so I'm not worried about cutting my mom's kitchen table. Okay, so we have our stencils. We're going to start with this one because it's a little bit simpler. So we have our X-Acto knife. This one's nice because it retracts. That's good, great for safety, makes for happy fingers. So, here's the main thing that we want to keep in mind. The black is what we're going to be cutting out. When we put this with our sunset above it, everything below this is also going to be black. So it's okay if we cut anywhere down here, but we don't want to cut on any of the white that is on the high end of the stencil because of the way that we've set up our background with our happy sunset. And so we have this cityscape here. It's nice because it's all straight lines and it's all one solid mass that we need to cut out. And so when we make all of these cuts, what we want to do is we want to start at the corners and we want to cut down into the black. We do not want to cut up into the white because that would make a cut up here. But if you do that, that's okay. It's just art. Little happy cuts. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just making art. Just like that. See how I turn the blade to make sure I'm cutting into the black instead of across this way where I could potentially cut into the white. Into the black. Okay, and again we're going to come down below it just a little bit. And then we're just going to connect the, we're going to connect the first and last part. Bring this down a little bit more. Okay, now let's pop this out right here. Let's see how this looks. Oh, there we go. Got a few little stragglers here. We need to make sure to cut out. There we go. Now we have one of our two layers, which is a nice happy cityscape that the sunset is going to sit behind. Okay, now we have a second layer. Now this is completely optional. You could do just one or none, or three, whatever you're feeling. We want this to be your art, however you see it happening. You know what? We're going to go ahead and cut the whole bottom off of this. This is going to be our front layer, and I want to paint all the way to the bottom of the canvas. So here, I'm just going to freestyle. Now, we're ready to cut out the next step. So we're going to do these palm trees first, okay? So, to cut these palm trees, a little bit more complicated and fine cutting, but again, just remember, wherever you're cutting, you want to be cutting into the black. So I'm actually going to turn this upside down. This is just a personal preference. That way I can continue to just pull the blade towards me. Just like that. Okay, and the final thing that we want to do is we're going to do these happy birds right here. Okay, and there we are. So we have a few different stencils. We have this layer with our palm trees and our happy birds. And we also have our cityscape. Okay, we are back, and we've got our happy sunset, which is nice and dry because we were cutting our stencils, gave it plenty of time to dry. And we have a few stencils that we just cut. Now your stencils can be anything you want. I'm going to be doing a cityscape and also some palm trees. Okay, so first we're going to be using this stencil, the cityscape. Now what I want is these tall buildings kind of in the middle to be right on the pinnacle of the middle of the sun. So the sun is setting around those buildings. So I want it kind of like this. Now you'll notice that it doesn't go all the way across the canvas. Usually I try and cut my stencils so they're a little bit bigger than the canvas, but in this case that's okay. We're going to spray this like here, and then we're just going to move it over a little, and we're going to spray it again on either side, because that's the great part about stencils, is they can be reused and repeated as needed. We want to make sure that this sticks to the canvas pretty well when we're spraying. So what I like to do is I like to use same spray adhesive that I use, but just a tiny bit. We're just doing a little whisper, and we're gonna spray that along the back of this stencil. Okay, so we'll just do a little tiny spray, and we can also spray just a little on the canvas. Just a whisper. Little happy spray right there. Okay, so we're going to put this right about there. And now, there we go. That'll stay without us needing to touch it, which is fantastic. So I'm going to be using black for this, shock black, for this part of the stencil. Now I want to make sure that I don't get overspray outside of the poster board right here. So what we could do if we want is we could use this other poster board. It's a little bit of a blocker here, and when we get close over here, we can use it just like that. Multi-purpose. There we go. Do a little more black just to get the cityscape coming all the way across the canvas, and then we'll come back. We're going to pick up that part right there too. Okay, so now we have our cityscape spanning the whole canvas, and we are going to want to paint all of this black. Okay, now you'll notice because I moved this around, it actually pulled off just a little bit of the paint in some little spots, but I think in this particular situation it looks pretty cool because it kind of looks like the buildings are just a little bit lit up from within, and I think that's a nice look. They're happy buildings with happy people working inside of them. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do something very similar with the second stencil. We're going to put that here. Now you'll notice that the birds are going to be against this black, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to spray everything below, and then I'm actually going to move the stencil up and I'm going to spray the birds. Actually, let's spray the birds first. Let's make these some happy little birds that are flying in the sunset. There we go. Maybe a few more over here just for good measure. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a very dark gray, which is going to be the layer closer to us, just to give this whole painting just a little bit of depth. Okay, so we'll put it something like that. Alright, so once again, I'm going to use just a little whisper of spray adhesive here. We'll put that here. You know what I'm feeling? She's got this crazy idea. That's what makes art awesome. Crazy ideas. I'm actually going to layer this, I think, on top for this part of it. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's get a little bit more texture in here. Okay. Now we're just going to paint the bottom. Can't forget the palm trees. Makes me miss Los Angeles. Alright, let's see how that looks if we peel this off. Happy sunset. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to see the painting that you made. If you want to comment below with a picture of it, or email it to me at blake@90daystomoma.com. I'm Blake Jamieson. Thank you for watching. Stay awesome.